Fox 4's learned a Dallas pastor was arrested during an ongoing effort by Plano police to fight human trafficking. Taryn Dames was arrested in May. He used to be a pastor at a Dallas church. He's no longer part of the church after police say he went online looking to pay someone for sex. Fox 4's David Santandri is in Plano tonight with details from the court documents. David.
Yeah, according to an arrest affidavit, the pastor claimed he was meeting a friend at a motel, and then he had some sort of unspecified medical episode in front of officers as he was placed into custody. Now he's charged with a felony.
So who are we called to be obedient to?
Pastor Taryn Dames, seen here on North Dallas Community Bible Fellowship's YouTube page, is accused of trying to solicit a prostitute. Dames was arrested by Plano police in May as part of an ongoing initiative to cut down on sex trafficking.
So this story really reminds us that the buyer tends to be an everyday person.
Bianca Davis, CEO of New Friends, New Life, a nonprofit that helps victims of sex trafficking and exploitation, says prostitution is rarely a victimless crime.
In the vast majority of cases, there is a trafficker or a pimp who is behind the scenes, who she must then turn over that money to, which is a part of the definition. If she is on her own selling her body with no one profiting from it, then she may be a victim of exploitation, but she's not being trafficked.
According to an arrest warrant, an undercover officer was posing as a prostitute on a website commonly used to solicit sex for money. On the morning of May 2nd, Dames called the number on the ad and offered to pay $150 for full service.
And so we do know that online purchasing is one of the most prevalent and common ways that this act is being committed.
Less than 30 minutes later, Dames arrived at the coordinated motel room. He left after no one answered the door, but was arrested during a traffic stop. The church said Dames was removed from his position in May because of moral failure.
Because of the pedestal that people of faith tend to be put on.
Plano PD says in 2023, it arrested 153 people for attempting to solicit a prostitute. So far this year, 90 people.
And it's an important way to get the message out, hopefully to others, that there are consequences. And by the way, this is criminal behavior.
Again, it's unclear what sort of medical episode the pastor had once placed into custody, but he did refuse to go to a hospital. Investigators seized his cell phone as part of the investigation, so we were unable to reach him by phone today, so we did stop by his home to see if he wanted to add any sort of comment to this story, but when we went there, no one answered the door.
Gotta be honest, folks, I have no problem with legalizing prostitution. If prostitution were illegal, number one, this pastor wouldn't be arrested for just trying to act out a basic biological need for men. This just in, men like sex, want sex, and need sex to be healthy. So I'm not going to demonize the guy for seeking it out. Now, you could all say, well, he should be married or be in a monogamous relationship. Like, sure, that's the ideal, but that's not reality. There's a lot of single dudes out there, and guess what? Those dudes still have needs. Instead of, and again, the angle of the news broadcast is obvious. They have an agenda. And I love, too, that the corporate media is trying to moralize this, as if the corporate media can take any moral high ground on anything. But sure, he sought out a prostitute. He's going to face a felony. This woman's out here saying it's just the everyday guy that helps engage in human trafficking. Like, no, the pastor here is not the bad guy. The bad guy is everyone else that allows this to happen. Yes, we're all outraged at human trafficking. It is awful. It's disgusting. It's a sin. It is evil. The Biden administration allowed it to happen. They had a wide open border that saw children and women trafficked to numbers that would just melt your brain if you could fully wrap your head around it. 300,000 missing kids, and yet the corporate media here that covered for Biden for 4 years suddenly going to make you feel bad about human trafficking? Like, get out of here with that. Men will always seek sex. This is going to happen. If you want to shut down on human trafficking, you create opportunities for those men to fulfill their sexual needs in a safe, healthy way that goes around the elements of trafficking. You legalize prostitution. You get licenses for prostitutes. You do health checks on the prostitutes. You put them in a safe space so that when a man comes, and it is two consenting parties engaging in a free market transaction, both parties are safe, both parties are taken care of. Then you don't have to have a man go in the shadows, because right now, if you're a dude and you see a listing for a woman and you're going to pay $150 for a fling, you don't know if they're getting trafficked or not. And you know what? That's not on you as a dude. It's on the society, the government, the rule makers right now that are setting it up so that you don't know what's happening. So, yep, I'm taking an opposite stance here. I know that's going to ruffle a lot of Christian feathers. I am all for legalizing prostitution. It's taken me a long time to come to this conclusion. But if you legalize it, then you get rid of all this other nefarious activity. And when someone does go out of bounds, nail them, lock them up for the rest of their lives, because they could have gone the healthy, safe way, but instead they went the human trafficking way. Now it is not gray anymore. It is black and white.